We're recording, Jeremy.
Dang it,
He's,
I just can't get the
he's got something in his throat,
this
y'all.
stuff flat.
Warning, there might be a little bit of language in this and stuff, so be careful. But this is just like after hours blooper stuff and everything. But I don't know when you guys are going to see all this, but there's his 101 he's doing, and this is my MC I'm doing. So I'm doing the screen record, Jeremy, so I might throw this on some after hour stuff.
I'm grinding on the head.
I don't know how this is going to be edited or anything, but one dilemma we had, and I'll probably say it in my video, he might say it in his, is stuffer clearance with our crankshafts and everything. So we've had to grind and do some stuff and everything and whatnot. And I need to figure out a camera angle where everybody can see me working and doing stuff and the drill ain't in the way. There we go. I might have to do the bell hopper way.
Let me full screen you where I can see.
There we go. So there it is, pressed down. And would you know it? It doesn't. It still hits the dang stuffer, 2 gaskets thick, and it's still.
I told you you're gonna have to grind it.
I did grind it, but now we're grinding in a different spot. What in tarnation? Where is it hitting?
I told you where it was hitting.
I
did all the research.
Well, no, it was hitting in the one spots, and after I clearance them, the dang thing is hitting right there on the center. It's this is just messed up.
Where's my stuffer at?
I don't know.
What did I do with my stuffer?
Hold on. Maybe it's not hitting and I'm just being a ding dong.
Maybe it's the case. Hold on. Oh, look here. I'll show you.
No, if I put the stuffer in the correct spot, if I bolt it in the correct spot, it won't hit. Yeah.
It was hitting right in here. See that dip I cut?
I had to do the same.
The bolt was hitting there. It was hitting right in here. I cut a dip up in here. It was hitting right here in the center. I had to cut some of that. This wall on the inside, I had to cut some of this wall, and then I chamfered these edges here.
I had to do that exact same thing. The only thing I haven't ground is the center part yet. But if I put the stuffer, if I orientate it correctly, it does not hit. Or maybe it does. Like if you put the stuffer all the way down when bolting on, it ain't going to hit. But if it's up slightly, it wants to hit on something. I might... Hold on, let me see if it's not hitting on any of my previous areas. So I think it's hitting on this one spot right here, and we may just... We'll put a marker on it, and that's going to tell me, everybody, where it's going at and stuff. All right. And it's not the weights hitting people, it's the actual bolts from it. Mind you, I've doubled up on the gaskets here.
Now, the weights was hitting.
No, it's not hitting there. Where in the hecker is it hitting at? It's not hitting there. Maybe it just feels like it's hitting.
If it feels like it's hitting, it's hitting.
Yeah, but where? It's maddening.
Mine was hit. Hey, it took me almost 2 hours to get my stuffer plate to fit.
This poopy. If I have the stuffer all the way down, which it should be when installing, it's not going to hit anything. So we're just going to have to take that as a note. When bolting together, have it all the way down, which it technically has to be, and nothing's going to hit whatsoever. Double gasketed.
You know, I just thought about something. I've got to actually record something for my video.
We're good. We're good. What are we doing? Oh. Look how far you had to cut that head down, people. Like, that's something else we're going to have to do. And I don't know when everybody's going to see this kind of stuff and whatnot, but we're going to...
I've got to film some of this.
You got to film
Part 3. I'm going to have to film some for Part 3.
They don't need to see this stuff after hours.
How can it? You're doing after hours. I'm doing regular videos.
I know. I'm trying to figure out when we're going to release this stuff, but that's nice, man. I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Of course, you have a full on machine shop, and you got a little bit more time than me. I had to make dinner last night. I talked to one of my YouTube viewers and everything, Quentin, and so
I
he's
talked to
pretty
Quentin
cool.
last night.
Yeah, he sounds like he's pretty good. He's a pretty good guy and everything. He just wants to make sure that his finger ports that are inside of 660 were good and everything to run and whatnot. He just doesn't want to tear up the saw is all.
Yeah, I talked to him a good little bit last night.
Pretty cool guy, ain't he?
Yeah, yeah, I
Tap
talked
tap
to him
tap tap
for
tap.
I talked to him for a few hours last night.
Are you fixing a seal?
I'm flattening it back out just for.
Dust seal?
I'm not going to use it. I'm just.
I wonder if I start using a nat view, but I don't know. See stuff. Still got
I
a
was
lot of
just
work to do
flattening
in
it
my
back
head
out.
here. I mean, you compare the heads, people here, the side by side, how much he cut out versus what I'm going to have to do. I don't know. Mine's got a pretty good cutout going on it. Yeah.
Oh,
So you
they
can
cut
see.
the center plumb out of yours.
I mean, look at that. Mine's got the cutouts already done to it on an MC, but I'm still going to have to cut a little bit of it down, more or less. I guess I'll cross that
Yeah.
road when I get to it. That's what we're going to have to do there. Like I say, this is the stuff people don't see, and they're now going to see.
I'm gonna film a little bit of this to show them what I've done so far, because I wasn't about to record all that stuff I done last night because that's way too dangerous to show.
You should probably try to hyperlapse it. Like whenever you have the camera rolling or whatever, you're doing something, just hyperlapse it, set it back, and people can see you, and they'll see the gist of all the work that's going into it without you fully explaining it and everything. That'll help out too.
All
Like
right,
you spend a couple hours working, you just put a camera up that you just turn on every now and then that you're just hyperlapse video of you just running back and forth and whatnot. And
I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna take the tank loose and start a video.
uh I'll end, we'll end. Ooh, that looking good, man. You did cut a lot out for that to work, but she gonna be fine.
I'm gonna show you here in a second as soon as I get this bolt out of here.
You could definitely,
I'm working
if
on
a
getting
guy
this
really
bolt
wanted
out of
to,
here
he could
now.
get that tank. He could remake that tank and stuff. But yeah, it's a chunk taken out of her, but it'll a custom gas tank put in there. Like I say, this is going to be a racing alcohol saw right here. So
I think it'll be I think it'll be good.
got real lucky that the
If I,
Super Pros could fit a sloper intake and not have to cut up the tank or anything, other than just the center section out, but not have to mess with the gas tank. That was luck.
if I had it to do over, I wouldn't have cut this gas tank.
You
Because
got others.
this gas tank was perfect. I mean, there's not a dip in it, not a rut in it. The insides was great. Now I'm probably gonna go over and the other two will be corroded beyond repair.
It ain't
And
cut
I'll be
up or
like,
bloodied or nothing.
I could have used one of them cruddy ones and not worried about anything.
Told you to look inside. I mean, you can always put tank liner, clean them up. That takes a little time, but the tank liner, if you weld them up and stuff, you put a little bit of that in there. That's what I do. JB weld things and use the tank strength, and then the tank liner gas proofs it. It does wonders.
I ain't much on tank liner. I've lined a few tanks in my life, and I've never had any luck with them.
415 stuff seems pretty good. You just got to shake it up properly and keep it stored properly. But it's working pretty good on some of the tanks that I've had. The Model 77 tank, that thing looks like it got hit with some sprayed with buckshot a few times on the bottom, and JB welded it and put this on it, and she held fuel pretty good. Didn't leak anywhere, so.
Oh, mercy.
I'm not saying it's a magic solution, but it's, people say
It,
JB Weld is gas proof, and I've seen it fail through gasoline. So this stuff is gas proof, at least for 15
see,
years.
I don't use JB Weld. Usually I use the steel stick
Yeah,
because it is gas proof.
steel sticks for structure, and then I do this just to be sure to seal all the seams and stuff and whatnot. It just protects the aluminum or the magnesium that the tanks are made out of from, continuously rotting away.
Yeah.
I guess safe than sorry. I don't know. But the stuffer fits as long as I put her all the way down when mounting, which is technically what you want to do. So it's ready to go. Doubled up the gasket here, but my trick that I did here to make two of them, I just folded the material over and did 2 for 1 here because I, figured save some time. Making them is a little bit of an art, but I was watching another YouTube channel and sitting down and doing that. So I still got to make one for the back gasket here. Shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah, see, I was trying to save the gas tank gasket yesterday, and now it ain't gonna do me a bit of good to save it because the whole bottom of the gas tank's gone.
Yep. I got lucky on one I had that was sent to me, but I hate making those gas tank gaskets, those big ones right there. They are. It's not difficult. It's just. Bleh. So, but yeah. I think a WB carburetor feeding this is going to be pretty good. It'll help with a little bit of power, but the 090 swaps are they're popular, they work and everything, but I'd like to go to an SDC style in these, so like I say, I'm going to have to make an adapter and stuff like that, and
All right, let's
and it'll avoid trying to find those. Yep, I'm going to stop the recording here, and I may edit this all together with other videos. I do not like cleaning gaskets off, but gasket removers are nice. Woo!
That's right. Gasket remover, real nice.
Of course, I'm in my pajamas. I'm in the comfort of my own house. I don't know why Jeremy bothers getting dressed.
Because it's chilly out here.
Well, you could put on some long johns and sit out there. Good Lord, what did they make these gaskets out of back in the day? I mean, I know it's asbestos and breathing it in, but copper weaving?
That's right.
What in the... Oh, that came loose. I mean, I don't want to over-torque it down or hurt it, but I'm going to have to torque it down more.
What in tarnation?
What in tarnation?
What in the Brian Gray tarnation did you do?
Huh?
Say, what in the Brian Gray tarnation did you do?
I don't know. But Mr. Matt Gray.
Yeah, see, this is some of the stuff they don't really get to see. Is this?
That's why I'm recording it, and it'll be after this whole thing and whatnot and stuff. But this is just behind the scenes and what you don't see.
These countless hours of hand scraping and trying to get stuff cleaned up. And
It is, and this is what's behind it and everything. And people think, oh yeah, they just slap that together real quick. when you're getting, I mean, when we crack these saw engines open and stuff like that, we have no idea what we're getting into or anything like that. It's truly is. And peeling gaskets and cleaning it up, all the grease and stuff, that's got to be probably the most time consuming thing there is on these.
Well, it's some of them like this one here. The amount of time that I spend trying to scrape and get the trash out of the slots and, out of the recesses and stuff like that. So when you clean it up and you paint it or something, it looks like a brand new saw. It's just plumb irritating how long it can take sometimes.
It is. It truly is and stuff. And like I say, when we had to go custom on the cutting out the whatchamacallits, the stuffer plates here to clear the crankshaft, that was another. It's like, I've never had this happen before. I mean, the last saw I built, I didn't have to do this too. And now this one, we're both having to do this. It's like, what is going on? So it's just one of them things, Yes, you should wear safety glasses and all the appropriate stuff, people, when sanding, grinding, and stuff. So it's nice when it comes off the big chunks.
Looks how nice and shiny it gets when you grind all the stuff off.
That's right. It gets super shiny. And remember, I go to work later on after this and stuff. Jeremy still has all day to play with this, so that's how he can go faster than me. But he's got a really nice, machine shop area. I've kind of got what I've got, but it's no race here. It was not planned that we were going to do these saws like this, like use the same bodies. It's what we had and landed in our laps. So I actually was planning to do a 101 swap in this 790 body style, but with that 101 AA I had, but it turned out the Super Pro 125 body was given to me, so that's what ended up in that one. But this MC 101 fits the time period much better.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm really having to grind on this, people. I mean, this gasket is a tough cookie.
Somebody's had this chainsaw device a couple times.
Thankfully, I've got a bison here I made mount to this desk. Yeah,
Can you
that's
see
been
the
it.
jaw marks?
Yeah, that's somebody's had her in a vise a couple times. What for, though, is the question.
I don't know if they done it when they turned, because this was a concrete saw originally.
Yeah. But it was a chainsaw converted, I thought. Yeah. But cleaning your gasket surfaces is super important to make sure you don't get any air leaks. Or in this case, on this side, you can have an air leak and you can also do an oil leak because this is an automatic oiler and it has a port right here that goes in the crankcase and it can leak into here, an air leak, and cause a whole mess of problems. So you've got to make sure these surfaces are clean.
I'm at least gonna try to make it pretty.
Huh? What?
I got a feeling a
Go
lot
away.
of the
Go away.
tank's gonna be a real. It's gonna be a real bear because I want to put it all up in here and maybe even lap around the side of the carburetor just a little bit and angle it, but I don't want it to be in the way. I've
But it
got to
runs.
figure out what I'm gonna do for an exhaust. Because right now there's literally none on it.
I was wondering why the sound dropped so quick on that thing. That thing, wow, wow, and that was it. But I couldn't hear it much, but I could see the smoke on it and everything, and it but so it starts pretty relatively easily. It that's good.
The only thing that really bites is to take the carburetor off. You have to take the tank off. So
where are your bolts at?
What, for the
Where are
carburetor?
the bolts at for the tank, for the carburetor?
One there.
Can't make some special wrench to get in there to, or even a crow's foot kind of setup?
Maybe. But
that's the way it is on my Super Pro. I have to after I did that carb swap to get the
it's got one underneath it and the handle bolts to it.
Yeah, and that the only way I get off my Super Pro that I did the swap to is I have to take the tank off to take the carburetor off. So it's a little bit of an inconvenience. I mean, I've got it down to where it's just zip, 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 zip on a few bolts and stuff like that, get things out of the way. But
it's not too awful bad. The thing,
at least you can rebuild it. You can rebuild that.
I don't really think they're going to be taking it apart and putting it back together numerous times, I hope.
At least you can rebuild the carburetor or service it without having to remove the carburetor, though. I mean, most of the whole entire kit setup's right there. That's the biggest thing with it being upside, the carb being like that.
It's like Brian just said, the way the carburetor is.
I need my coffee.
You can rebuild the carburetor with it on the saw.
Yeah.
Because all the plates are on the top side of it without the tank on it right now. I mean, I use the impact wrench to take it apart.
Yeah.
It's literally just 4 screws and top the carbs off.
Yeah, everything's stacked on that.
He's
I'm trying to think of what I want to do next video wise. Maybe this weekend we'll get this head done and everything whatnot. And so after you get your videos done and everything, then I'll try to compile all these behind the scenes things and whatnot and see what people like, and we'll see what they think.
Put behind the scenes out while we're building it. Just try to make sure that
I don't want to give away too much and everything and stuff like that. So maybe I might do it. I might.
The video that comes out tomorrow will be from today. So after tomorrow's video comes out, you can put out anything you want.
Maybe I'll do it as a midweek special kind of thing. Maybe I'll do that. Like, what do people think about the behind the scenes things? Hopefully people really like to see these kinds of things. This is like, say, us talking off camera and everything and whatnot. And because if we recorded every single thing we're talking, we'd have 16 hours of footage that nobody's going to want to see. I guess there's some people that would really love to honestly sit and chat with you all day and stuff. And I know I do. I quite enjoy that and everything, but it's just all that planning stuff. And so maybe this weekend I'll try to get that booger out of the combustion chamber. I got to shave them heads down. We got to put a save-a thread in it. We've got fun work. And I may make do a video on saving these and everything and whatnot. And we'll see how that goes.
That linkage a little twist, and that really helped. I just gave her a little twist. Yeah. Well, when you spend as much time as I did getting it in there to work, when you finally get it to work, you're like, let's not touch that son of a gun, because I finally got the son of a gun in there.
it's like, I don't even know how I did that. It just works.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part. It's like,
Well,
how did this?
the one before what's on there now is the one that's on there. But I got it all done, and I bent it, and I put it in the throttle, and when I pushed the handle up, it held the throttle about half open. So I cut it. I just, like this, I just cut this off and rebent it on there again. And I was like, Lord, I hope that works. And it's got slack in the end of it, and it goes to wide open throttle.
This is almost like a podcast. You're going to have to start a bellhopper podcast with people and everything. They just listen to you going on all day about this stuff.
Just come on in here and listen to all this crap we're talking about.
Yeah, listen to this. You may not be able to see it, but you can hear us talking this crap and what's planning on and everything. Somebody will listen to it while they're driving, a million miles a day or something, or at work, bellhopper podcast.
Well, Sammy the Bull Germano, he's got a podcast, and I actually sat and listened to him a good bit.
My wife likes to listen to the Office podcasts and stuff like that, and I ain't found one because this is what I do as a podcast. I'll sit here and talk to you and do these kinds of things and whatnot, and self-entertained. There we go. I'm just kind of self-entertained.
I'm just kind of curious as to. I'm gonna pop the top off this carburetor and see how much gas is in it. Of course, it acted like it pulled some fuel through the carburetor that last time it cranked.
Just need a big old stretch of line that you can prime, and then it can just run it out real quick and whatnot. So,
well, I actually zip tied that water bottle to the front of the gas tank. Well, this one, there's fuel running out of it right now. There's fuel running out of all the plates. So.
Kind of curious. Like I say, that duckbill valve is the worst part about them and everything. Those are expensive, but I can understand why. Still squishy? Opens up properly? Man, you got lucky. That right there, every single one I've ever had turns into a giant booger. Just
now, I know the needle's working. I don't know what's under this plate right here because I have not taken it out, I don't think.
The what? Okay, so
this plate in the base of the carburetor.
Oh yeah, there's like a million plates in between there and the valves and stuff, and like say
this diaphragm.
Oh yeah. How's the needle and seat look in it? Well, the needle, at least the seat on those, the ones I have, are just press-in seats or whatever. They didn't even make them screw out anymore. The needles.
Everything looks really good in this thing.
There were needles online at one time. They were like nylon needles or whatever, guaranteed the seal ones, but I can't remember if they were the 14 or the 16. So I have one I modified and put inside of mine, and it kind of seals okay, but we'll see what time
Everything in this carburetor seems to be in good shape.
As long as it impulses and the duckbill valve, it might just run off of it. You like say you may have to spray out the low and the high speed real quick, but just
I went through the low and high and sprayed some stuff through it. Now I don't think I took this bottom plate out of this carburetor, which it may be shit under there.
Warning people, there might be dirty words. I'll put that disclaimer in there. We try to avoid that in our main videos, but this is after hours, people.
Yes, I try not to say that, but it's good.
I'll put that in the disclaimer and stuff like that. My videos, I have them labeled not for kids so that people are able to comment and stuff, but we are adults. It just happens. But I will put a disclaimer. We might slip up, but I'll put that in there and stuff. And we don't mean to. We're just having a good time after hours and the behind the scenes and everything. I don't know how to bleep out words yet or anything like that. So
there's some kind of little flapper under here.
Yes, that is for the what is that? Low. There's like low and high speed behind that, and there's a flapper valve. Whenever you activate like the high speed, that valve opens or something and just sucks fuel. And I had it to where one of mine actually sucked it into it, where it was leaking fuel like mad.
The one I don't get is I cleaned this carburetor and somehow it corroded again on the inside, sort of.
Got to be careful with that aluminum. It doesn't. And also with those BDC 16s and whatnot, there was different thickness gaskets that come with it that lifts that plate up or down, so your needle is only able to open up so far too.
Well, when I got done cleaning this thing, I sprayed it down with penetrating oil to keep it from corroding, but it did not seem to work. I mean, it's not that bad. It's just kind of, it's a lot yuckier looking than it was when I got done with it.
Yucky.
I'm trying to just make sure everything's cleaned out. There's a little place right there, and I don't know if it's supposed to be a hole. It's just a retwist.
Let me see here. I should have something tore apart here. No, I
Just
got
a little recess. Every time I turn around, something.
Yeah, I got a BDC 20 that looks horrible. It's got that pressed in stuff and everything. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, people, when stuff gets gooey. If I could find my pick or whatever. Things, I'll just use this. They get, there's a pick just staring me in the eye right there in front of me. When I say they get gooey, I mean and hard and stuff, they just turn back into like crude oil kind of thing. It turns into a giant booger. So you remember what his looked like? This is what they turn into, and you can sit there and shape it and everything. That's what happens to those duckbill valves. They just don't live. So he got extremely lucky that his isn't like that. It's like $40 for a 5-pack of them. So, and these kits are like $65 for a rebuild kit. But these carburetors are massive.
I've got some running around here, but I got some parts, but I don't really have.
And there's guys that say they don't like them and everything. They can't keep them in tune and stuff. And mine stayed in tune for me just fine. I've never really had a problem with one of these. But modern carbs are nicer. It just depends. But maybe we'll have to get a snowblower or a snowmobile carb put on yours. A big old Mikuni, a 36 millimeter, like, something like that.
If
you're telling me you ain't got a snowmobile sitting out back with a Mikuni on it?
I don't.
I tried.
Brian asked me if I. What we need a snowmobile for?
You have every odd and end out back there. You have that giant John Deere tractor. I'd like to see it make into a Poland tractor. Let's feed this thing alky and nitropropane, and we're going to see what this thing goes. Boom.
We can blow some shit up.
Yeah, we can blow things up, but we're in the business of trying to save things.
There's only so much to save. It comes down to, we're going to see what survives and how long. A blow up series, engine series, blow up engine series.
There is a channel that I watch sometime, and they just tear things up, and I don't particularly.
I'm not saying I go tear up everything, but there's some stuff it's just like it's not worth anything, and it's dying a slow death sitting out there taking up space. And
yeah. Now, some of them I got some old junk saws. I mean, we could do some of them and just see how long it takes them to die. But
I thought about that. I've got a couple like that, little Polands and everything and whatnot, and I just don't want to mess with them. I could do another fuel line video, and that was one of the most popular videos, and I'm like, really? But
the reason those are popular is because a lot of people's got them. They're trying to fix them so they can use them.
I don't like them saws. I'm not saying they're terrible saws. I just like my Max, I mean, I don't know.
The little 2150s and stuff like that, them little homeowner Polands, those were some of the best little old saws they ever made.
That's right.
'Cause
They'll
they
cut up
ran.
everything. They're good for divorces when having to split stuff. They'll cut up concrete. They'll divide dirt. They'll find hidden gas lines in the ground if you really tried.
They just work well for everything. They're not like the best in the world for all around, but
They
if
did.
you
They
had
did the
one of those,
job. You had once every 10 years a tree fell down or something like that, and they, that's what most saws are for now. So
I mean, I used to heat my house with a 2150. I cut wood for a year and a half with one. That's all I had. That's
didn't
all I
realize
could
the chair
afford.
wasn't all the way down.
And some of the little saws they done real good. Yeah.
Look at that. Put that over. There we go.
Can you
See what
I'm
this one
actually
looks
doing?
like compared to that other one over there. Now it's. Well, I've been surprised. I've opened up some of them, and they look like they're polished, brand new on the inside, despite the outside. I mean, ones I'd gotten, I think they're outside. Yeah, I put them in a box outside of the card stuff. I opened up one of them, and it was stupid shiny. I'm like, wow.
Wow, man. I don't know what the inside of this one looks like, but the other one was pretty bad.
Stiff.
That's two-stroke oil.
Oh, okay. Somebody ran it good.
It's that set of flappers is pretty hard.
I would think that that diaphragm's crusty. I can see it from here. Maybe my judgment's bad.
This one don't even have that duck bill in it.
What do you mean? Oh, you gotta take the you gotta.
It ain't there.
What? You have to have that to run.
I'm telling you, it ain't there.
Is it in the other setups?
No, it not there.
It's not in the other holders or anything. No, not those ones. The other ones.
Right here.
I know, but look in the other things.
Well, I can see the other things too.
No, there ain't not. Dang. So somebody robbed it of its duckbill valve.
What is that supposed to be for anyway?
You're gonna want to make me break out the book, ain't you? All right, the duckbill valve.
I just wonder if we can
Story time, everybody.
I just wonder if we can make it go away.
No.
Why?
Because I said no. How a two-stroke engine works. I should read that story to you guys. Let me find it. Pressure pulse. All right. Figure 5. Blah 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 blah.
This carburetor looks all right, but the stuff in it ain't.
I mean, I've got the pressure pulse theory, the Venturi carburetor, pressure pulse carburetor. All right, the pressure pulse carburetor, reading from the book, everybody, story time. The pressure pulse carburetor makes use of only the pressure pulses of the crankcase to create a signal pressure on the carburetor diaphragm, figure 4. The suction pulses from the crankcase are cut off by a one-way duckbill valve. The duck valve, figure 5, is also known as a duckbill valve and a raspberry valve. Pulse from pumping up the carburetor signal chamber like a balloon. A bleed-down passage containing a carefully sized orifice releases pressure into the atmosphere from the single chamber of the carburetor. The size of the orifice is determined by the capacity of the crankcase. The pressure is created by the movement of the piston and desired operating characteristics of the carburetor. Thus, a carburetor designed for a particular application may not operate as effectively as another application. The difference between the pressures created by the pressure pulses and the bleed-down orifice at different engine speeds is the signal pressure. The signal pressure acts on the carburetor diaphragm to open the fuel inlet valve, figure 6, which is a whole bunch of figures here. When the pressure of the fuel against the diaphragm exceeds the signal pressure in the pressure, the diaphragm closes the fuel inlet valve. At idle speed, the pressure pulses are bled off quickly, and the diaphragm moves only slightly. At high speeds, the pressure builds up in the signal chamber, and the diaphragm movement is greater. This permits larger quantities to flow the fuel through the fuel inlet, and the valve demands a higher fuel pressure against the diaphragm to close the inlet valve. Pressure pulses and bleed down orifice operate very much as a balloon with a small escape hole to cut in it. As air is blown in the balloon expands. If no more air is blown in the balloon contracts as the air escapes through the small hole. If small puffs of air are blown to the balloon, the size of the balloon will be balanced between the puffs and the pressure of escaping air. So if the amount of air blown is greater, the balloon will grow larger until entering air escapes, air gains in the balance, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, pretty much it's creating an effect. It's creating a one-way valve for the carburetor, but also a raspberry effect from what they're saying. So
the screws out of this thing.
In simple terms, it's a one-way valve for the crankcase because it only allows pressure. It does not allow air to escape through it, just into it is what it's doing, and creates a raspberry meter effect from what they're saying. So but right here,
you said that the orifice was different on them too, didn't it?
But if you see here, everybody and folks, you'll see right there it says one-way valve because, the camera likes to do what it wants. We're focusing here, camera focus. One-way valve right there, you'll see it. And that's what I was reading is it creates the pulses, raspberry effects and everything and whatnot. And so that valve is important to how this whole thing works because you get the signal pressures and it's complicated on how it was made, but it works and everything. And I know there's simpler designs. You have to sit here and study and everything to see what's going on through every single thing. They really break it down with hand-drawn pictures on things. So it's one of those things that's easier done than said. So the duckbill valve is a very important one-way valve. But also how it creates the pressure, it's instead of just one whoosh. So, today's lessons brought to you by McCullough.
Yeehaw.
Now we got to get this thing fired up. Muffler on, we'll get that here.
Running.
We stuck 790 muffler on it. I've almost burnt a quarter of a quart of fuel. So, yeah. She runs. But we still got to get the kit for the carburetor. This carburetor's been sitting for however many years it's been a setting. It is extremely old, and it's been sitting for a long time. So I don't know where I'm going to add this into the video. It may not. I don't know why I'm telling y'all, but anyway, you'll see it.